Hello everyone, this is Pilleater, long time no see. I decided to make another funny presentation about my Eurorack systems for the year 2025. And I have two Eurorack systems, and am recording this the day after Valentine's Day of spring of 2025. And I usually do these every year. I don't think I did one in 2024, but this is just for those who are into synthesizers, Eurorack modules, and electronics, and they just want to see in the world of how I think about design and Eurorack engineering and all that. So I do this video for those fans, and you might be interested. If you're interested in Eurorack system, follow along. So here I go. So right now I have two systems. I have a system I started in 2020. And it was two rack brutes from Atoria, and they're connected together. As you see in the picture here, I also have the official carrying case with the Atoria A on it, and I have a bunch of stickers on it. You probably might have seen it on the Chom Cherry Instagram. To the right is a Tip Top Audio Mantis case I started 2 years ago. And that's just, I have the Tip Top Audio backpack for that. So if I want to be like a hipster going out to West Philadelphia and I'm playing in the forest with all the other black tattoo guys and Asian girlfriends, yep, that's me. So modular on the spot-wise to the right and the stay-at-home rack brute to the left. So I'm going to go over System 1, which is the big one I invested in, and most of my electronics come from this. So again, there's two rack brutes, and they're both connected together. There's the top and the bottom. So I'm going to start with the top. You've probably seen a picture like this before on Modular Grid, but this is officially what my top part of my first system looks like. So I'm going to go over each piece. So here, this is just obviously the power. This is what turns it on, The next one, Drumbo by, I think, Tac. It was from Sweden or Scandinavia. It's basically a synthetic percussion analog. They only made like 100 of these. I like it. I like the sound of it. It's really quirky. It's still some of my favorites. It's one of my go-to percussions. Love it. We have the Recovery, was it Cutting Room Floor? This is kind of like a fake Space Echo. More on the guitar side. There's a guitar pedal version of it. I like it. It gives it that roomy feel. I love the old, not this is like some kind of Victorian steampunk kind of thing, but it taints it that way. I like it. We have the Modbap Performer by Black-owned businesses, or whatever that means, where Roger Lynn appears on a podcast with 4 black men about to do things to him. But I like how there's knobs. There's a tape stop, a glitch, a stutter, things that would most Roland devices now have. And these little knobs do the job very well. I like the sound effects of it, but I'm not making a hip-hop, mod-bap, yesteryear, Tribe Call Quest, Q-tip bullshit. So let the adults do the talking for a second. But otherwise, it is a good effects unit. Got a basic 2 HP ADSR. As you can see on the top, I have 3 of them. I do not like Buchla people at all. I think they're pretentious. You just have to think in terms of what you would call, quote-unquote, East Coast, how a sound would go. So you need these. This is my main VCA. It's by Vostok, and it's 6. It's 6 VCAs into one small package. Again, trying to save space on this unit. I like things that are small but usable. I know why people go for big, because they're going blind. But this is a really good unit. I like it a lot. And this is kind of the cornerstone piece to where all the oscillators are going. And they have to go out into the Roland 531 mixer. So you got the Roland TR 6S fades. You got the panning and the mutes as well. And obviously this goes out to a mono speaker. But again, stereo, it's there. This is the perfect caboose or, front or whatever you want to call it in an audio signal. This is the end. And love this unit so much. It's the cornerstone piece. Highly recommend it. I don't think there's anything else on the market at the current moment. Maybe I'm just biased that I love Roland. I'm a Japanophile, an Asian sexual, if you haven't guessed. Another ADSR, just in white. You know, I have two of them. Not that I'm racist or anything. We also have a Dreadbox Echo. This was a very older unit. They're hard to come by, but they're only $40 if you pick it up. It has a good digital tape sound to it. I love that. Very cosmic music, krautrock. Very nice. I have all the three Dave Smith modular units right before he died. You know, the guy from Half Moon Bay, before he sold it to Innovation. There were a series of Dave Smith modulars, and I like it, you know. Very, very sharp filter here. Very sharp. So you gotta be careful. So I like putting like stuff into it, like the Tip Top Audio 1, the single sampler. Sometimes I'll put it into the Dave Smith filter. I mean, I'm just giving you techniques. I mean, not that I'm spoiling my magic tricks here, but filter and samples, pretty nice. Filter house, you know. Not that I'm doing that, but gets ideals. Over here, we have the Disting MK4, you know, Expert Sleepers thing. That's a joker, a wild card. If I need another VCA, if I need an LFO, if I need a Korg MS-20 converter, it's all here. I'll use it just for the little things, but I mean, I try to use it, but you know, I'll find something, make use of it. This filter is really good. I like it a lot. It has a nice, soft sound to it. I think this is my favorite filter, actually. I mean, I don't want to copy myself because I like diversifying the filters, but it's great, solid. This distortion unit by Noise Engineering, that they also have in Reason for free. I like it. Very crispy, crashy, garbage noise that like harms neighbors. I like it. This Verb is excellent too. This reverb, very loud, very spacious, very much like banging on tin drums in a hallway. Yeah, this is a really interesting Dave Smith unit. This modular, it's kind of like a distortion mixed with a filter mixed with a bit crusher. It's kind of a three effects unit in one. It doesn't know what it is, but I find really good use to it when I just like mess around with percussion. It's starting to stick on to me, this unit. This is a cheaper end VCO that's supposed to be based on an Atari 2600 oscillator. You know, not exactly chiptune, but it definitely has that kind of old 70s feel. I love that, you know. The Marguerite Metro is an interesting drum unit. I love it a lot because it could do so much in its little package. It has a built-in reverb and delay and the drums, but it's just unpredictable, the sequencing. And I love adding extra drums from this in the background to give it that spatial feel. Again, trying to go for krautrock, cosmic music, Berlin school stuff. Here it is. And yo, here's the black ADSR against the two white boy ADSRs, you know. We have the Aeon modular one. This is supposed to be based on a Moog, not Moog, a Moog Eurorack piece. A Moog modular from back then. It's a clone of it. I don't think it's exact, but it looks like it, feels like it with the LFO and everything. It's a very solid sound. I like it. It's grown on me. This is interesting. I thought about getting rid of this 2 HP kick, but I love the kick drum from it. But the pulse is so the pulse really can't be read unless it's like you have to get to the hit. It's a very strange unit, and sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not feeling it. Sometimes I just want to use sampling, but the digital synthesis does very well. 4 LFOs for obvious reasons. I want to control things. I want things to go up and down and whoop, 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 binary and things. We have a Dave Smith feedback unit. This is the better distortion unit, but love feeding this into another unit and seeing what happens. Here's a Domino full-end synthesizer. I really like the square on this. It's a very nice square. Sometimes you need, you know, full-on synth units in a small package so you can use the other things like the FM or something. Or again, not that I'm like a Sega Genesis thing. FM is very overrated. I hate it, but it's nice. Here's your basic mixer. 4 ins, 4 outs. Got it. So we're still on system 1, but now we're looking at the bottom of the unit, and the bottom is very crucial. I mean, you've seen the top, but you got to turn on both if you want to utilize this. I mean, you could turn on one top and use the what you have, or the bottom, but both have to be on. I'll show you. This is the bottom, what it looks like. Yep, it's a almost a complete Roland System 500 at the bottom, you know, with the except that the VCA is on top, so that's the only issue. So going on the first of my Roland 500 obsession, we have a phase unit that has everything from the LFO to the delay. I like it. So again, you know, if you're going to the lag and sample and hold, I'm expecting just to make patches with these Roland units. The reason why I don't have the Roland filter and the Roland VCA is just, well, actually I do have the filter. I mean, I have a bunch of filters, but it's just like I don't have the VCA is simply because the Vostok VCA does so much better. You know, envelope, the ADSR here and the other LFO, it's good. It's very solid, very smooth. I don't know how to describe it. It's just accurate, you know. Here's the Roland filter I'm talking about. It has a nice like sudden filter attack on it with the reso and everything. I love it. Here we have a Dofer, whatever, German poo-poo Scheiße synthesizer thing that's full on. And if I needed something like an extra track, it works pretty well. I mean, it's better than a dark matter. You know, I had the big dark matter unit and or Dark Star or whatever it was called from 10 years ago that Angel Spit used. Interesting. I like it. Here's another Recovery Dirty Murals one. Very spacious, very dark. Like it. It's a little bigger mixer here. I know it's 3 HP, but it was on the cheap end. It was like $30, and I don't mind. Over here is a core. I love the Roland oscillator so much. It's very nice, very classic. This is what makes a synthesizer. And I do have a bonus, a Titan, not a Domino, just an oscillator. That's, you know, sometimes I just want to mess with a different oscillator than the Atari one, and I love the square on this. Here we have an Erica Simps Pico synthesizer, you know, by a rich family that decide to name their company after a woman who has no interest in synthesizers. I don't know if you want to call that simp or not, but I don't believe in that, but I just think that's kind of weird. You know, it's very, very Goethe calling your company after Charlotte, you know, and then balling yourself off a cliff in a very suffering of young Werther way. Very solid filter. This is an Italian thing, Arcaico Czar. It's a 4-track synthetic percussion with a bass, snare, and noise, hi-hat, and open with the pink noise and white noise. I love it. This percussion I'm always going back to. I haven't even scratched the surface on it. This is exactly, I love percussive synthetic percussion, and this does the job so well. We have a sequencer, which is like it's supposed to be like a TR-606 style sequence in a very small form factor. I can't believe this is like the only step sequencer on the Eurorack market, and they try to sell it for $300. Again, outrageous fucking Trader Joe coffee price. But I like it. It's good to control the synthetic drums there and some other things, and it gets sent out and has MIDI in and whatnot. But you know, the big elephant room is the Hermod Plus. I used to have a Hermod Mach 1. If you saw the previous videos, I gave that away. And the Hermod Plus just does a better job now if it's 16, you know, percussive hits right there. And with 8 tracks, it's fully enough. You know, if I really wanted to trigger that 2 HP drum or send out an LFO, this kind of does the job. It's the big where it starts, you know, sending out the sequence. And we got another power. It's upside down because you fold it, right? But that's system 1. So we got system 2, not the Atoria, but the Tip Top Audio Mantis case, and it's going to be pretty obvious what it looks like. So you open it up, and it's very simple. You could say this is just a Moog system instead. So we got the brand new Labyrinth post Moog, owned by In Music from, you know, with that guy from he has a factory in Taiwan or whatever, from Rhode Island. I find it really interesting. I like how this is like both snares and hi-hats and some percussion, and you use the DFAM along with it, and you're getting off some weird Moogie drum set of sorts. Got the Beringa Brains, which is supposed to be that trans guy who did it was this trans guy. He used to do like iPad stuff, and then he did these, and he stopped Mutable Instruments because he's crazy, but Beringa did a better job on it. I like it. We got Space FX. You know, if I need that distortion, whatever, it's cheap, $40. Go China. The status leak frequency control, literally just got because this was cheap. I like the sound of it. It's a very weird. I like using cheap things because you don't know the results. You know, it's always sounds crappy and it's good crappy. Same with this Qubit unit. This is a very old unit. It's more than 15 years old. Has everything in one. You know, this only has 4 units on here. A T-Fam, a Liberath, a Brains, and a Rample. You know, it's amazing that everything has its own effects here. Again, D-Fam's only been around for like 6-7 years. I think so, yeah. It's almost been a decade, and it somehow works. I knew there's also Banninga's Edge, which I use, but, you know, I'm very nostalgic about this unit, and I just like what it comes out. Not that I'm making douchebag techno music. It's just I want to annoy the audience. So it just does it really well. This is also a fan-made MIDI adapter. So if you want to send MIDI into it, and the DFAM will sequence. Okay, the Rample is just a 4 sample hitter. It just triggers 4 different samples through an SD card. You just send the pulses through there. No different from a Roland P6. You know, it's just 4 samples you're allowed to. That's all it does, is hit samples. And the Panelist Workout, the Mach 1 unit, does that. You just press the button and, you know, I could master everything from the Panelist Workout into the Rample, into the DFAM. It's just the Liberath is very tardy. And sometimes it goes on, sometimes doesn't through the trigger. So sometimes I'll do a reverse and do Labyrinth into DFAM. And then, like, have this on its own. You know, I like unpredictability. Got a Z-Verb. Really good reverb. I like it. Tip top. A Michigan Synths version of a Yarns with TRS MIDI. I just like it because this can act as a clock to control everyone, including the DFAM and the Labyrinth through its adapter. You know, has that kind of sequence style. It's another clock if I want to organize things, or if I want to use a keyboard and just control everything in one oscillator. It does the job. A 2 HP LFO, because sometimes I really need that to mess with the effects or on the Moog stuff, and I do love LFOs, and this does it really well. And we got the narrow mixer, in and out, 4 tracks, mono stereo, mono usually. But just wanted to give you the update, guys. That's it. If you want to know more, go to www.pilleater.com.